Because I'm one of the people. You can't just say you're one of the people. You really have to be
Well, that's a very
one of the
interesting concept.
people. It's very different, you know. And if you have a privilege, everybody will find out what it is. Well, I, refuse, right? You can't even give me anything unless you run into me and actually hand it to me, right? It's impossible,
Right.
You know what I mean? And I make it that way on purpose, right? Because I'm not just not asking for anything, like, it's beyond that, you know what I mean? I have a lot of philosophies, right? That my viewers on YouTube, most of them do not see me. They see my videos. They see some things that I do, right? Some conversations that I have, but when somebody sees me, like you saw me, right? You didn't even know who I was. You watch my channel, but you saw me from over there, right? You noticed me. You know,
I didn't even know it was you.
But you noticed me anyway.
I assumed that this officer assumed you were homeless.
Oh.
Because
No.
you have a beard, you're out here, you know, and just standing outside in public with a backpack. You know, and that's the normal MO that you would see. But I also knew that you might not be homeless.
I'm home more. I've been
Whatever.
homeless. It really sucks.
But anyway, so I decided to record to help protect, and to get it on video. Because I had no idea what his intentions were with you.
Sure. Sure.
And so I was just recording.
He was really nice. I stopped him on the way in, and we only talked for a minute. He was trying to get some supplies, masks, gloves, sanitizer, but he couldn't find any of it. And then on the way out, I started talking to him longer, and it turned into a good conversation. He actually gave me $5.
It was cool. It was.
I don't ask
he was
for
listening
anything,
to you.
He was listening to me.
I've been more interruptive of you than he was.
Yeah, he was. I can be a little hypnotic sometimes, right? And you saw it, right? When he just fell into the trance and was just listening. You know what I mean? And that's how I am. I'm very conversational.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of your videos.
Yeah.
The ones downtown in Austin at night, those are my favorite.
Yeah. At night, man, Austin was freaking crazy. I have so many videos from Austin. I think I got 280 videos in just 45 days of good, rock solid videos. But I only post like every 4 to 7 days, and so I can't post them all. I wish I could post more conversations like I just posted today. But there's so many nails, there's so many tyrants that it's like I can't even get to them, But today I posted that long conversation because everybody forgot that they're actually the government are tyrants and that they don't help, they don't protect, right? They don't serve, and now they want to claim they're all, the greatest thing since Swiss cheese because of coronavirus. So thank God for the police officers that are hiding in their police cars and refusing to get out, that aren't responding to anything. They're not even responding to thefts in a lot of cities.
And they're all thinking they're authority, and actually we're the authority.
Well, the people are the authority.
Right.
The citizens are not the authority.
We the people are the authority, right?
Yeah, but when you're driving that vehicle, you're not one of the people. You're a person.
That's true.
Right, and the definition of driver
if
says
it's a
you're
vehicle,
a person.
but if it's my personal conveyance that's 10 years or older, and I don't have it registered, and it's never been registered, unregistered, and I have no driver's license, I'm the people. I'm not bound by those commercial laws. So what you're saying is true.
Driving is not a commercial law. Federally it is, but the states say any person is driving, right? And see, this same argument applies to the right to bear arms, right? And you're seeing it right now in states. Okay, yes, you have the right to keep and bear arms, but you do not have the right to go buy a specially manufactured arm at the store. Okay, that store is doing commerce, and the government can shut that store down at any time, right? And so the same thing goes with that car. Okay, that is a motor vehicle. It's only a motor vehicle because it was sold as a motor vehicle, right? See, the manufacturer, in order to manufacture them, one after another, there's rules, right? And you purchased that as a motor vehicle.
I did. I purchased that new one as a motor vehicle, brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just don't try that argument. You know what I mean?
And you're right. But there's something else that I know is the cars that used to be vehicles that are now 10 years or older. They're no longer vehicles if you unregister them.
Wow.
And a live human on the land can travel in that conveyance because it's how it's nominated.
You haven't used one word that's in the Constitution. Live human.
I'm talking about Black's law.
Conveyance.
I'm talking about Black's law defines a vehicle a certain way. And then cars that are 10 years or older than 10 years old are no longer a ward of the state. They're no longer vehicles.
Well, Black's law is
live
not
human
law.
I know, that's what I'm saying. According to their rules,
Black's
a car that's 10 years or older, you can acquire, and you do not have to have it registered, and it's not a vehicle, and you're not driving whenever you travel in it.
Except that you are, because see, if you have other privileges, you're going to lose them. Right? Don't try and exercise rights if you're on the path of privilege. You'll find out real quick what you have and what you have to lose. Right? And if they tow the vehicle, if they, you know, take you to jail, right? If you end up losing your job, you see, all those things are privileges. If you can't make your house payment now, if you lose your girlfriend or your wife, right? You find out, well, was it worth it? You see, it wasn't worth it, right? If you like those privileges, you know what I mean? And you have privileges. I can tell, right? It's obvious. You know what I mean? You might not be the most privileged, but generally speaking, the ones that are on the privilege path that try and exercise rights are on the low scale of privilege, right? Not all citizens are created equal. Some have, you know, if you work at McDonald's, you have privileges, but not the same amount of privileges as, say, a CEO of McDonald's or the President of the United States. They have a lot more privileges, right? Or a police officer, you know, so not all citizens are created equal, but all the people are. You have all your rights. You know, there's no such thing as some of your rights, right? So this travel business, that word's not in the Constitution. You know, you have the right, the people have the right to amble.
Do you believe that all of our rights as people, not persons, people are fully enumerated in the Bill of Rights? Or do you think that there are some rights that we, the people, have that have not been enumerated?
Yeah, I have a well-established right to coffee, right? But that doesn't mean that you do, right? But my right is well-established. And, you know, I talk about it on nearly every video, how I'm never out of coffee, right?
I have that right too, and I probably need to go get some.
Right now, you know what I mean? But you don't have some in your hand right now. But, you know, me, like, to have coffee every day is rather extraordinary, especially Starbucks. But right now, I don't have Starbucks coffee. I have instant coffee in a Starbucks cup. You know what I mean? Because I love Starbucks so much. And because I hold my phone on the cup, that I couldn't go without a cup. So the last day that they were open, I bought one of these reusable cups. You know?
I noticed the change in the cup also helps for stabilization, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And it's low key. It's more conversational. You know, like that. I mean, you should be able to walk around like that. I wish more people did, but it's not as conversational. You know what I mean? It's a distraction.
Yeah, it intimidates some people because it's obviously a camera.
It is, yeah, and it's more to steal too. You know what I mean? Like, all that is privilege, right? The more valuable your equipment, the more that they can hurt you by taking it.
Okay, what about this? There's something I would desire, something I desire as far as equipment. I wouldn't destroy one of my eyeballs to get it, but there are people that are missing eyeballs that can get camera eyeballs and then attach it to where it's part of the body. It can't be removed lawfully or legally. Right? And then it's on all the time. And, you know, of course, how to power it, you know, there's different ways to do that. But to have an eyeball that's an audio video recording device, no matter where you are.
That's very interesting. Maybe Blind Justice should get one of those. You watch Blind Justice?
Absolutely.
I like him a lot.
Absolutely.
He found out that going to jail was a lot harder for him, you know. I was just kidnapped. You saw that?
No.
In Bernie?
No, you went in Bernie?
Yeah, I was headed out. I was headed west, and in Bernie, you should check that video out. It was a few weeks ago.
They accosted you?
They took me to the hotel.
Were you just traveling?
I was ambling. I was pressing on, assembling forth, reaching about, speeching it up, and I stopped and was filming a traffic stop. And the tyrants, they didn't like it at all. And then I didn't even throw a protest. I just talked about throwing a protest. You know, I asked if he'd ever seen a protest. I told him that I was going to protest, right? But I didn't protest, you know, technically speaking. But they did take me to the hotel, and they regretted it immediately, right? Because I don't ask for anything.
Crossbar?
Crossbar?
Crossbar Hotel?
Yeah, except that I had a private room, right? It was different for me because I'm one of the people, right? And when you don't ask for anything and you don't answer any questions, then their heads explode, right? Because they need answers. They need to know if you have allergies. They need to know if you have any medical conditions. They need to know if you have any gang affiliations, right? And I can't eat or drink their water because those are privileges that I have to ask for. And I don't have privileges. And so I didn't eat and I didn't drink any water for 40 hours, right? And the judge came to see me. You know, I was naked. I just had like a wrap and it was just like over me, right? And because clothes are a privilege in there, you know? And they literally pushed me out, right? With no agreement or anything.
Because you wouldn't participate in privileges.
I wouldn't participate because I'm one of the people. You can't just say you're one of the people. You really have to be
well, that's a very
one of the
concept.
people. It's very different, you know. And if you have a privilege, everybody will find out what it is, right? And they will make you hurt. You know, I mean, I don't think very many would be just laying there content, right, and okay, right? Like I didn't feel hungry or thirsty or upset or bitter or uncomfortable at all, because I'm at home with myself, and it didn't matter if I was there or not, right? And it didn't matter to me. Like, I mean, I don't want to die, but I don't not want to die either.
Right.
I don't really have an opinion on it. And so, you know, if it's if I have what I need to die, I will, and it's okay, right? And if they want to take me and depose me and hold a trial, they have to do it quick, very quick, right? Time's running, because they're gonna have to keep me on life support after just a few days, right? And they don't want to do that. It's not worth it, like, unless it's serious. And if it's serious, because I'm one of the people, I should die. You know, if I harm another, if I steal from another or defraud another in contract, then yeah, I should die, right? That's how serious it is when you're one of the people. You know, you don't.
Or if you're
have
being
due
martyred,
cause.
that's a good cause. So same way.
But I mean, rights are definitely something to make the stand for. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not comparing myself to Gandhi or, you know, true martyrs, right? But they weren't fighting for privilege.
You're press on. You're
I'm one of the people.
You're,
what I do is I press on.
Yeah.
I'm not press on, but my site's called Press On.
When in your life did you arrive at this state of awareness for yourself and who you are? When did you come to realization who you are walking on this terra firma?
Well, what happened is that when I stopped asking, when I left Miami, and I walked here from Miami, and when I left, I stopped asking for things. And when I stopped asking, I lost all my privileges. So I became one of the people by default, but I didn't know what it meant to be one of the people yet, right? It wasn't until I started watching these videos of auditors, and then I went down the rabbit hole like you were talking about, traveling and the, you know, all of that rabbit hole, right? When we talk about, you know, all the paperwork and all that stuff, right? That you were talking about, you know? And I went down that rabbit hole, and there was a guy, actually, I forget his name, but he was Canadian. And he showed me that words don't mean what we think they mean in law, right? And he did, you know, start talking about Black's Law and stuff, but also the definitions in the codes, right? Black's Law is not anything final, right? It's not law, okay? It's just a dictionary, but it is a dictionary that courts like, right? Most courts are Bouvier's, you know, they do like those dictionaries, but it's not the law, okay? And just because it says it in there doesn't have any force or anything, you know what I mean? It's not case law, right? And all that. But when I realized that words didn't mean what I thought they meant, you know, in law, then it hit me that what about the word person, right? Because that was the end of the line for driving. All persons operating a motor vehicle are driving, right? And in order for it to be a motor vehicle, you have to be a person, right? It has to be owned by a person. And I was like, well, what does person mean? So I tried to find out, and person in the Texas Transportation Code is defined as an individual, and an individual is defined as a person. And right then, a huge bell went off, because that's a circular definition, right? Person means individual, individual means person. There's no definition for either one. All we know is they're exactly the same, right? And then when I looked at the Constitution, and I noticed that it wasn't persons that have rights.
We the people.
It was people who have rights. So, you know, when it seems like a right is being taken away or infringed on, it's really not. It's privileges of persons that are, you know. And like right now with the coronavirus, if you pay attention to those words, you know, when you hear them talking on like the daily press conferences from the White House, you know, they say, this is a recommendation to the people, and every citizen has a responsibility to do this, right? See, the way they phrase it, it doesn't draw your ear to it right away, but if you're already in tune to the difference in the words, right, then you can see the people don't have a responsibility. It's a recommendation, you know, and some of them are good recommendations, right? Like 3 to 6 feet. I think that's a pretty good recommendation, you know what I mean? And like even I backed off, you know what I mean? Because that's a good recommendation right now.
That's probably a good thing for us to practice just for the regular flu, or
sure, anything. 3 to 6 feet. This is a good distance. Yeah. I wish that police officers would respect this distance.
Yeah, instead of walking right up on you within a foot of your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to intimidate.
Yeah, and then they want to claim personal space if you're, you know, too close. I've had a few videos like that.
Run up to you from across the street a foot from you and say, "Don't be filming me."
Yeah, or you're too close. You know what I mean? How dare you come up on me when they came up on
funny.
you? Yeah,
it's funny.
It is. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, that persons thing. My understanding of a person is the corporate fiction that they want the people to impersonate.
No. Think of a bong or a water pipe. Okay.
Okay, this is gonna be good.
All right, they're the same thing, except it's how you use them, right? And so there's a reason why we have persons. It's not a corporate fiction, okay? It's real, right? If you are smoking weed out of a tube with a bowl in it and water, it's a bong. If you call it a water pipe, it's still a bong. If you're smoking tobacco, it's a water pipe. If you call it a bong, it's still a water pipe. It's not a crime, right? And you're one of the people if you only have rights. You're a person if you have privileges, right? It's up to you. But if you want to be part of the group, if you want to be one of all these, part of society, which I'm not part of, right? I'm not part of society. It's obvious, right? I might go talk to somebody in the group, just like I might talk to a police officer, right? I call society the sheep, and the people are the shepherd, and the police are the sheep dogs, and the criminals are the wolves. But the shepherd is up on the high ground, okay, the First Amendment, right? And if they fall off, right, because they want privileges, if they stoop to that level, right, if they go in there, in their person's house's papers and effects, right? That's the Fourth Amendment. You know, the right of the people to be secure, full stop. But if they go in there, in their person's house's papers and effects, then they have to be reasonable. And that's fair, right? They don't have to be good reasons. They just have to be reasons. And if you have 10 bad reasons, it's better than one good one, right? It is. The more reasons, the better when you're talking about reasonableness, right? It doesn't say, you know, without good reason in the Constitution. It just says without reasonable cause, right? And many times it seems like, well, that wasn't a good reason. It's arbitrary. You know what I mean? So it's not about a fiction. It's about how do you want to live your life? Do you want to be on the righteous path, or do you want to be on the path of privilege? For the sheep, they want the group. They want society. They want the comfort and the safety of others, right? They want those privileges, you know, and those are very important to them, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But you can't just, if I was actually one of the sheep, I would be very unhappy, right? Because I don't have those privileges. I would be wanting them, right? Like, I've been homeless, like I said, and every time I see somebody homeless, it's obvious. They're down. Oftentimes, they're actually sitting on the ground, right? And when you're down, you're down. But I'm not down. You don't see me sitting down, right? I'm standing up. You know what I mean? Straight, right? And I'm happy, and because I'm at home with myself, right? And I'm very at ease, you know, and comfortable, right? And you can tell the difference, you see. But it's not for everybody. That's why there's very few shepherds, right? Shepherds would be very lonely, right? If they were actually a sheep. You know, can you imagine one sheep? I mean, the wolves would go after it right away, right? Because they need the group for safety.
Right, got it.
Right, so it's not a fiction. You know, I mean, on paper, yeah, that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? I went down that, and it's interesting. But for me, I'm one of the people, and I no longer need to worry about that, because I'm not doing any of those things. Right, I'm not trying to fight to drive, because why would I even want to drive as one of the people? I'm not in a hurry, right? I just put one foot in front of the other and go forward, right? All of them, they're in a hurry to get somewhere. They don't know why, but once they get there, they're gonna want to leave.
I know there's lots of people so in a hurry they race from one traffic light to the next,
Yeah,
and like
people.
I'm traveling along and they're past me, and I'm just chilling, and then when we get to the red light, they're right next to me, having wasted a lot of gas and wear and tear on their car, you know, being in a hurry. You're right, people are in a hurry.
Yeah, and they're very dependent, you know, and all those privileges can come crashing down on you in a hurry, right? I mean, 10.8 million citizens applied for unemployment in 2 weeks, right? Just like a week ago, right? The first 2 weeks after the coronavirus thing, you know, 10.8 million citizens applied for unemployment. That's not counting the lazy procrastinators that didn't go apply. It's not counting all the off-book employees, right? The ones that are working under the table and not paying taxes. You know, it's insane, right? Like, nobody's working except government, and they're not doing a damn thing.
Got it.
You know,
well, what's your background? I mean, you're a very intelligent guy.
Oh, don't start rumors.
You're very intelligent. You have good recall. You have great articulation. You have a good demeanor. I mean, you can dress however you want to be, you know, be however you want to be. But when you communicate, you know, it's really obvious that you're intelligent. You have great recall. You have good access to words. You could be an attorney. You have such great access to words.
You have to ask permission.
What's your background?
To be an attorney.
I mean, yeah, you don't, if you care to share it. I mean,
well, what do you mean?
I mean, like, you know, did you work? Did you school?
I used to be a citizen on the fringe, right? We might call them black sheep, right? They're the ones that don't really like being told what to do, right? But they still think that those privileges matter, you know. And so yeah, I had lots of jobs. You know, it wasn't until I started walking and I wanted to test the philosophy of what would happen if I stopped asking, that I found out that I wouldn't die, that actually everything was okay. I didn't have anything to worry about, because no thing is worth worrying about.
What I'm asking is, and of course I'm not asking you to share the name of a school or anything, but like, did you go to college?
No, no. I never have asked permission to learn.
Okay.
Never.
Did you graduate high school? And,
oh yeah.
Okay. So you did that much. I actually dropped out. I had some problems, and I actually dropped out. I got a GED, and whenever I got the GED, they told me I should go to college because I placed in the very top percentile on doing that, you know. But I didn't care to go to college. I'm self-taught. And
I think we're all self-taught, but sometimes we give credit to others for teaching us when the only one who can teach you is you.
You got that right.
The only one that can help you is you.
A lot of people trying to teach me taught me what not to do.
Well, they're teaching themselves. The teacher learns better than anyone because they're reciting the lesson over and over, day in, day out, year after year, right? Some of the students learn, but some of them don't, right? The ones that learn, the teacher takes credit for teaching them. The ones that don't learn, the teacher's like, oh, that's their fault.
Yeah.
No. It's
that's cool.
It's the students' fault, right? That taught themselves, and the students that didn't teach themselves were actually teaching themselves something else. They just weren't teaching themselves what the teacher wanted them to learn. But we're all learning all the time. Nobody knows more than anybody else, just different things, you know. But I mean, it's not until they come up naturally in conversations that's when they're really valuable, in my opinion.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, listen, press on.
Yeah, you're gonna blow the secret. Nobody knows where I am.
But
that's okay.
Did I?
That's okay.
Did I already? Yeah,
no,
probably I did.
Are you live?
No.
Oh, I mean, when you post it, you're gonna blow.
Yeah,
the
when I
secret.
post it. Well, you'll be
fine.
gone by then.
I'll be
Yeah.
gone.
But no, I'm not live. I'd like to be live, but I only have 102 subscribers so far.
Right.
So that's
Damn it,
that's
I
part of what I'm doing.
almost
I'm really wanting to kind of cheat the system and get 1,000 subscribers before I do audits.
Well, I mean, I hate to mirror a video of myself, but might if you want me to.
I'm gonna mash it.
It's gonna. Do you have a video that you want me to mirror? Do you want me to look at?
Maybe.
Well, what? Which one?
Maybe. We'll talk about it.
How are we gonna talk about it?
Well, there's one that I'm not on. My face isn't on it. This one I put together about knowing rights, but you just blew a lot of that out of the water with your philosophy.
Yeah,
so that that's an antique video now.
Nobody's me.
So I really don't have a video that I would like to, I would like my channel to have a lot more eyeballs and subscribers to give me the opportunity to go and do my audits live. 1,000 subscribers is all it takes. I can get it there, and I printed the cards that I gave you in order to help me get there.
Yeah.
Prior to having audits.
Well, are you going to post this today?
Probably.
Okay, I'll mirror it the next video I post.
Okay.
Which won't be for several days.
Okay.
But that'll give you a head start. That way you can get as many views as you can get on it.
Well, it's not going to be the whole thing. I'm going to mash it up.
Do what you do.
I'll try to, without destroying it, I'll try to make it good, with the edits.
What you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That'd be cool,
bother me,
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
So-
actually, I mean, I could just post this.
I want what I want to bring
yeah.
to the First Amendment auditing community is a higher level of authority from what's being said. You do that well already.
Well, I'm not part of the First Amendment.
I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about for me.
Yeah.
I want to bring a different level of accountability to the auditor community. Not trying to change those auditors, but having looked out and going, I really don't want to sound like that, and I don't want to be like that. Different auditors, though, them being potty mouthed and rude, that's fine. They have a First Amendment to say whatever they want to say.
No, they don't. When you're a citizen and you start exercising rights, you're not on the First Amendment. Okay, you went in there, and you're a citizen now, right? You should be better. right? But the people are never stooping by swearing. You know what I mean? Because that's First Amendment, right? And if you're on the First Amendment, you have the high ground. But citizens should watch their mouth, you know, because it doesn't look good, and you can lose privileges, right? It might hurt you in relationships, with jobs, right? All kinds
or
of
with
things.
family,
with relationships, family.
yeah, relationships.
Yeah, you know, not society might not like it, right? And they might come down on you, but society can't come down on me. See, you don't have the right to redress the people, right? Like you said, accountability. Citizens have to account for their actions, right? When you make a job application, you're accounting for your past, right? You're trying to make a name for yourself. You see, you don't make a name for yourself by swearing, right? Not a good one.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
But it's not nice to call people names.
Whenever I go out,
See, I'm not trying to make a name for myself.
got it. Whenever I go out to do any type of recording from public, I want to do it a whole lot different than what the First Amendment auditors are doing.
Sure.
Even though I might call it First Amendment auditing.
Sure.
Okay? I want to bring a completely, and I'm still learning what that is. I'm still figuring out who I am in this. And so I want to bring a completely different look and feel, a completely different flavor to it. I want to bring a completely different and more powerful educational process to the whole thing.
Right.
You know? And whenever I speak, you know, I want my words to be a notch or two or several notches above in power of what I say.
Let's go in the shade, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about going and getting some coffee.
It is hotter than a fester teat right there. I'm dying. I've already walked 12 miles today.
Yeah, from San Antonio.
I left San Antonio at 5 a.m. on, well, I was at Bitters in the embassy, and I took kind of a circuitous route out of San Antonio, but once I got out, then I've just been hoofing it.
When we're done here, if you would care to get anywhere quicker, you have the opportunity to be in a vehicle, and I chauffeur you there. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Well, I don't have a destination, but if you want to surprise me, you're more than welcome to do that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
cool.
But that would be totally up to you. But I did want to go in there and get some earphones and
Dollar Tree?
yeah, and hopefully some coffee, if they have instant coffee. There was a run on instant coffee at the dollar store.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get
So
some instant coffee.
That's what it's resorted to, because
Yeah.
only the privileged can go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
You have to have a car.
Right, and you have to be able to go in and sit down these days, and you can't do that.
You can't do
Nobody
that.
seems to have that privilege right now.
Nobody has that privilege. Some places, well, no one will let you go in and sit down. When I was, I was just down there at the outlets, and there was a plug, internet, a bench, you know, and I was able to post, right, and charge my phone and everything, you know. But I haven't seen a plug since I left, right? Like, posting is a privilege. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't easy, you know, and even that, like, I didn't get to do any editing because it was a really long video, and I can only edit like up to 40 minutes, you know, and be able to save it on my phone, right? So it's complicated, and that was a longer video, you know, that I wanted to show. I haven't actually watched it, but I remember it. I mean, you watched it today.
Yeah, I was watching it live.
What do you think of that? What'd you think of
And it was cool. I liked the way the conversation flowed. And like I said, I interrupted you more when we were standing here talking than the officer did.
Well, this officer?
Yeah. Or was it? No, the live one is what I'm talking about. What were
It
you
wasn't
talking about?
live. It was a premiere.
Oh,
Right,
I thought it was live.
that
I was
took
wondering,
place
like, how did that
December
happen?
4th.
You were here, and y'all were sitting down. Where were you sitting down? Now it makes
that
sense.
was in Starbucks on December 4th. Of
Oh,
last
wow.
year. I never post when I'm in a town.
So that wasn't this officer. Oh, okay.
Those were two resource officers,
Oh.
Northside ISD in San Antonio.
Oh boy, was I
At Bitters and
confused.
Embassy, Starbucks. You said you're from San Antonio? That's where you live?
Say again?
You said you live in San Antonio?
No, San Marcos.
Oh, you live in San Marcos.
Yeah, the very first audit I did was my own hometown police department lobby.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
It's the only audit
right.
I've done.
Yeah. Well, right now is not the time to be messing with government. They're so on edge.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I never mess with them. You know, I don't go after them. I'm not looking to cause a problem with them, right? Like, they have to be doing something already, you know? And I recommend, if you see an officer, this is how you learn, right? It's just talk to them when they're going into the store or at Starbucks or something, because they're not on a call. So their defenses are down a little bit more. You know what I mean? They can't, like, nobody's detained. So it's a little hard for them to say you're interfering. You know what I mean? You can always talk to them. And it's just a lot easier to learn, you know what I mean? How to conversate. But, and get your confidence up. Right.
I've always seemed to have a natural act whenever, like whenever I'm in a car and I get pulled over, to be able to, whenever there's no reason for me to be pulled over, you know, to be able to, quote unquote, defend myself and take control of the conversation, even to the point of asking them why they stop me and they stutter, and I say, that's what I thought, get in my car and drive off, and even stand there stuttering.
There's always a reason that you get pulled over. It might not be a good reason, but again, reasonable cause doesn't say good reasons. You just have to be able to articulate what it is.
Yeah.
Right, and yes, the court has ruled some of them are not okay, but for the most part, like, if they can articulate it, it's okay, you know. But I don't live in a reasonable world. I live in a peaceable world, right? As long as I'm peaceable, then I'm fine, you know. But if I'm not peaceable, then I lose my high ground, right, immediately. And, you know, unless I asked for something, I would die.
It's such a contrast to the First Amendment auditing community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, what a contrast.
They're different.
Yeah.
I'm not doing what they do, and that's why I don't call them First Amendment audits.
Well,
they're pressers.
I see our meeting here because I've seen you as a cut above. You know, all the time I've been watching your channels, you're a cut above.
I only record the police. We have a right to redress our government for our issues, but this is really soft. You know, I mean, you can document what they're doing too, what Commerce is doing, but I don't.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking. I've never seen you post anything like that, but that's a really cool camera rig that you have. It is inconspicuous.
It is, yeah.
It's non-threatening like mine might be, even though it's just a simple little tripod and a microphone and a cell phone. But I thought I'd ask, you know, to see if you actually, you know, document where you're walking.
I would if I had a secret camera. I would really like to show, like, my travels and like just how people talk to me in general. You know what I mean? Because you don't really get a sense of that with the police necessarily, but like, everybody loves me. You know what I mean? Wherever I go, right? And it's like, I wouldn't be able to hang out at Starbucks all day, every day, the same Starbucks for months on end, if they didn't all love me. Right? Like, if they wanted me to leave, I'd be gone.
I gotta admit, you're lovable because you're non-threatening in any way. Your words could be threatening to some, but you know, they're non-threatening words, even though if they're threatening to some. Does that make sense?
I only complain to government about government. See, in my regular life, I never complain. Right? And when you compliment, you're complimentary. And when you're complimentary, and everybody loves that. You know what I mean? It's hard not to like somebody that's complimentary, but never complains.
This is true.
You know what I mean? And it's genuine, right? And I would like to document that on my other side, you know, as one of the people. But
so if you had some sort of body cam that was like inconspicuous that you could run,
more like a belt buckle cam,
or
something very,
or eyeglass frame cam,
if it was very inconspicuous,
yeah. Or maybe a fake eyeball that looks like an eyeball.
Yeah,
you know. I need one of those. Hey, it's been Andrew Morgan with Press On, somewhere in an undisclosed place in San Marcos, Texas. Peace out.
We're at Dollar Tree. Yeah.
All right.